Hey guys, Rebel95, recording live from the Look County Prison Cell. I am currently driving while I'm doing this. That is not a smart idea, but it is well below freezing outside. Currently snowing. So I need to have the heat on. If you can hear the heat being on, I apologize for that. But yeah, so I'm not gonna be looking at the camera too much. But I'll try to explain this as I go here. I do not condone the behavior that I'm that I'm demonstrating right now. So yeah, this is a fight that I honestly wasn't thinking about, and it's more like lack of a better opponent for one of the characters rather than best matchup for both. But this is Rin Okumura from Blue Exorcist and Shinra, what's his last name? Kusakabe or something? Shinra from Fire Force. Underrated series, especially as an anime, is Fire Force in my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. So, yeah, this is really like the, I mean, there's a lot of connections to, besides them just being, like, fire-based anime protagonists. Like, you know, they're both responsible for, you know, mass tragedies in the world. They're both were demonized as a kid, literally and figuratively. Yeah, and, you know, just things like that. So, on one hand, you have... So, I'll start with Rin here. So, Rin is quite literally the son of Satan. He is... Now, when I say son of Satan, I mean more so in the... I guess, like, in the demonology sense. Because in the Blue Exorcist world, there's not, like, one... Satan, there's not like one God, one Satan. It's kind of like all of the spiritualistic and anti-demon religions all exist and have merit. Like there's a Hindu religion, you know, there's like validity to Hindu, there's validity to the Shinto religions, there's all that sort of stuff that goes on. So when I say he's the son of Satan, I don't mean he's the son of the devil per se. There are multiple demon lords, as in demonology, that have names that in Christianity are just different names for Satan. Like, you know, Beelzebub is a completely different demon than Satan. Lucifer is a completely different demon than Satan, right? So, stuff like that. So basically, he is the son of a high-powered demon lord, and he is responsible for an event which is known, I believe they call it the Blue Night or something, which is essentially all the top clergymen in the world essentially were all taken out. And it was because Satan had tried to, you know, enter the world through Rin. And it's called the Blue Night because Satan's flames happen to be blue and are unextinguishable except for by holy water. And Rin has inherited some of Satan's power. He's meant to be like a vessel for Satan's power, but he ends up learning to control it. If he loses control of it, he takes on like an animalistic side, and it has to do with his sword and its sheath. All of his power is kind of put into, I believe it's the sheath of his sword. And if it were to ever be broken, it would be, you know, it would all unleash itself, and he would lose control. But some of that power includes not just superhuman level strength, endurance. He gets the Inuyasha healing factor, which is, if he gets a non-fatal wound, it heals in like an hour, right? So his wounds don't heal. I guess you could argue, I've been using this term so much, but like, I guess you could argue that like his wounds prevent, like he doesn't die from wounds that might, in enough quantity kill someone else. But no, he does. He's not like he's not like Deadpool or something where like he just gets back to full health. He just, I guess you could argue it's like more of a durability feat. And yeah, so his wounds affect him in the fight that he's currently in, but they don't linger. Like, they don't stay around. So by the next episode he's fine, basically, is the point. And he also has partial control over the same blue flames that he uses, that he has to control through attack commands. One of which is called Satan Slash, where he basically coats his sword in the blue flame and then swings it, and it sends like a wave of blue fire at the opponent. There's, what is it? I think it's like Satan Bomb or something, where he essentially creates a localized explosion by touching his sword to the ground. And then I think it's Satan something else, where if he touches something with the sword, he can send the blue fire through it. Usually he uses this on other demons. And he can explode, he can basically send the fire like through whatever, if it's a giant demon with tentacles or something, let's say. Don't get any ideas. He can like send fire through one of the tentacles and make it like explode, make it cook from the inside out. Other than that, there's nothing too, I hate to downplay a character like this, but like, he is kind of your basic animalistic fire boy kind of character, so, it's not, but I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm not trying to downplay him. I also hate his English voice actor, but, not the voice actor themselves. I hate his voice, rather. I don't have any problems with the guy himself. I just mean, like, it's what Kirito, Eren, and a couple other guys have the same voice actor as him, and he's it's a little grating after a while. But yeah, next we have Shinra. I think it's Kusakabe is his last name. Again, I'm gonna butcher that. It'll be in the title. So Shinra is what's known as, I believe he's known as a third generation pyrokinetic. Where essentially, this gives him incredible, okay, I'm parked now so I can talk into the camera. This gives him incredible levels of pyrokinetic abilities. What this allows him to do, what he tends to do rather, is shoots fire from his feet to kind of propel himself. That lets him move at, like superhuman speeds. This lets him fly. And it gives his kicks a lot of extra power. Over the years, he's been able to enhance this by, using like a mantra or using like uses like a gesture to concentrate, and then it like focuses all of his powers into it so he can move super fast. And he's also known for an ability known as an Adola Burst. So there's a lot of stuff in this show that I'm not incredibly equipped to explain. Adola is essentially a separate like astral plane where I think it's either beings of fire or they're like it's like the origin of the Big Bang or something along those lines. And what this, an Adola burst is essentially, I believe it's the character borrowing power from this world of what is like unlimited power, essentially. And there are some crazy abilities that can happen in from this, but there are some caveats. There's a thing called an Adola link, which is when one character, or when one person, two people with Adola bursts interact with each other, they kind of share this psychic link and their powers become amplified multiple times over. In Shinra's case, he was able to move to, I think it was like move faster than light, because his body was disassembling itself at a molecular level and then reassembling itself nearly instantaneously while he was moving through physical space. So it was like he was like teleporting through space to move at light speed. And this was made to directly counter his younger brother Sho's ability, which was to siphon heat from the outer reaches of the universe, at, you know, the energy created by the Big Bang. It was to siphon heat from that outwards expansion to slow down the expansion of the universe, and thus slow down, or even in some cases freeze time. So Shinra was able to move through light speed. So Shinra was able to basically teleport in frozen time so that he could still move and fight, which is insane, but that's the kind of power he has at his disposal if he's able to share an Adola link. His regular Adola burst is basically just a supercharged version of his own powers. And I kind of skipped over his backstory on like Rin because I was still driving, but yeah, he's also responsible for burning his childhood house down, and his brother going missing, or he was considered responsible. I forget, it was either him or the knights that there's like a church group that that fights them, and Shinra has this nervous condition where whenever he's nervous he gets this big giant creepy grin. So the visage of him smiling while his home burned down basically made everyone terrified of him and gave everyone the impression that he was like the devil incarnate, both due to his powers and both this condition. So yeah, going through the fight though, it's a little hard to gauge. So on one hand, Shinra is stupidly strong and like stupidly overpowered, especially when you get into the Adola stuff. And both of these characters have limited enough offense that it's kind of fine to judge them based off of that. So we kind of have to assume that like it's just going to be stats that determine this. There's not going to be much like matchup variance to this fight, I don't think. That being said, yeah, Shinra's operating with regular fire and Rin is operating with demonic fire, which is unextinguishable, but at the same time, I think I feel pretty comfortable saying Shinra has this, just because even using like and I might be completely misunderstanding these two characters, to be honest with you. It's been a while since I've seen either show. But both of these characters more like if we use Shinra's abilities to connect to Adola, I think even at like a super low percentage of what he was doing against Sho and what he does later in the series and whatnot, like in the manga, I think, because it ties into Soul Eater at some point. Spoiler. But like what he does later in the series, I think that puts him over, from what I'm going to understand, anything that we see Rin do. So I mean, it's going to be a super simple answer, but I think Shinra wins just on basis of having a higher power output, being faster. I don't think Rin has anything to counter that speed. Like, it might be harder for Shinra to kill him because of his regeneration. Like I said, like the hit has to pretty much, the hit or succession of hits has to be fatal. Like, you can't almost hit him. You can't, like, almost kill him and slow him down, per se. I guess if you, like, cut off an arm or something, you could. You have to either, like, cripple him or kill him outright to slow him down. But, like, I just don't see Rin being able to actually take out Shinra. Plus the fact that Shinra has a much more acceptable formal training, both as a member of so the Fire Force are considered to be part of, like, the military, even though they're sort of like firemen. But they take out demons known as infernals and stuff like that, etc., etc. So they're considered to be, like, part of the military. So he has, like, self-defense training, as well as, like, he's been trained by some of the best fighters in his universe, whereas Rin is very, I mean, they're both kind of morons, but, like, Rin is much more notoriously, like, untrained. He's much less disciplined. He has a lot less technique than pretty much everyone else in his, so Shinra, I think, just has, like, the combat advantage. Plus, like, Shinra has dealt with a lot more one-on-one encounters than Rin has. Rin almost always has backup, or everything is a group effort, whereas Shinra also goes in with his team, but he does a lot of one-on-one fights. And he's fought a lot more variations of different opponents, as well as been trained by a lot more people, that it gives him way more, it just gives him a much better combat advantage, I think. In addition to his speed, that lets him take advantage of his speed, I would say. So yeah, I'm going to give this to Shinra. Not great reasoning. I might put one or both of these characters in another fight, and hopefully I'll be a lot more researched by that point. But actually, I think I put Rin in a fight before. Didn't I put him against the D Gray Man guy? I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, Rebel Engine 95. See ya.